Hi, I'm Charbria Shine, and welcome back to Max Out Girl. All right, guys, so we have a very special guest today on the podcast, my husband, Louis Shine. Hey.
What's going on?
What's up, babe?
Oh man, just chilling.
Yeah, just chilling. All right, so I'm excited because we are on today because we are celebrating my show, Charbria Shine Single Woman Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, woo. Okay, as you can see behind us, we are in the iconic West Side Theater Guild, the West Side Theater, and this is where our show is going to be on March 29th. Look behind us, so amazing, guys. So I'm excited because right here on this very stage, I've danced, I've acted, I even produced my very own show, Dr. Love, the stage play last year on this stage. So we're excited to be bringing Single Woman Chronicles here on March 29th. So let's talk about it. So, babe, you've been involved in this whole process of me doing my stage plays. You are my stage manager in this show. And back in, 2019 when I wrote this show, you were the person who pushed me and encouraged me to go after my dream, to go after producing this show. So what was that like? Like, kind of tell them a little bit of that backstory of why you motivated me and what that conversation was like.
Yeah, so I think for me, like it's always, my whole life has been natural. Like, it's been natural to help people.
Yeah.
And so I feel like one of my giftings is I can see things in people, that maybe sometimes people can't see in themselves.
Yeah.
And so, of course, being married to you, some things you just pay attention to and what you gravitate towards. I noticed that, the arts, and I mean, it could be when we're sitting at home and something comes on TV, or like, it could be, you cannot be paying attention to things, and if it has like a theater sound to it, you're automatically like, blah, like, you just, what I'm saying? So you can pay attention to those things.
I'm drawn to it, yeah.
You're drawn to it. Or, we could be flipping through YouTube, because I watch the YouTube. I really don't watch TV, I watch the YouTube,
Yeah.
And if it's something where people are dancing or doing some kind of your eyes go up to it. So it's easy to tell, like, what your passion is. And so when I see like those things in you, it's like, why not do what you love? I mean, because I've had an entire life of going against the grain and doing what I love to do versus what people tell you to do. So when I see that in somebody else, especially yourself, that's why.
Yeah, I wanted to publicly thank you because you did push me out there, because it's not like I was never going after my dreams, but at that point, we got married, and then he lived in South Carolina, so I moved from Indiana to South Carolina. He was pursuing basketball. He was actually a coach, college coach at the time, and I wasn't working, so I was just kind of like, what do I do with my life, trying to figure it out. And he's like, babe, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like, well, I want to act and dance again, like my first love. And he's just like, and sing, because I love that as well. And he's like, well, do it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no shows I want to audition for. There's no stories that I really see myself in. And he's like, well, create your own. And I love that, because I'm like, well, right now I don't have any contacts where we live. I don't know anybody. He's like, just go on YouTube and just start acting. Just get your gift out there. Just get your gift out to the people. And so I decided to do, I believe it was like a 5-week monologue series where it was called Single Woman Chronicles. I just created this, and I was supposed to do improv monologues, 5 different topics of what I felt like single women dealt with. And after that, I would do a live talk with single women, and it was such a hit. Like, we loved it. And when I say such a hit, I don't mean 1 million people were watching it, but just the group of ladies that were impacted, and I loved it. And so from that, I wrote my stage play, Charbria Shine Single Woman Chronicles, from those 5 monologues, and I created the story around the monologues. And a lot of the story is some of my life in my singleness, because I was a blogger about being single and relationships, and I wrote a book, Single and Satisfied, The Single Woman's Guide to Fulfillment, and I had this whole ministry around being a single woman. And so part of it was my story, and the other was just things, other stories, lines was just part of things that I felt like single women struggle with, dealt with, and not just single women, but women, the pressures that we deal with in today's society around relationships, around pregnancy, having kids, freezing our eggs, around trusting God with our lives, settling for less, just marrying any man because we got to hurry up, or getting older. And those were just some common themes and pressures that I feel like we deal with as women, period. And I really want to get out there. And it took me not so long to write that play, because after those monologues, just the ideas were coming, and I credit that to God, because he was just like whispering in my ear, like, what to write, the different scenes, and I was seeing it like a movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So from there, you kind of encouraged me to, get this play out there. We moved back home.
Moved back home.
Yes. So kind of talk about a little bit being a supportive husband and allowing your wife to fulfill her dreams, because it's one thing to say, babe, go after it, but we actually moved back like right before COVID hit, and you were seeing that I was getting a lot of gigs in Chicago, and we were trying to drive back and forth, and we finally made that move back. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we were living in South Carolina, and there was an opportunity because this was after like we started to do the monologues, and it was amazing because, and we'll you know what, we're gonna put that link down here because you have those monologues on YouTube, so we're gonna put it down there for you to see the beginning of Single Woman
They were
Chronicles.
so funny, but they were good, yeah.
So we would film those in South Carolina, and I'll set up for her, and then she would go in the room and get in her zone, and then start to do what she does, and then sometimes I'll try to linger around, but she's like, go away, go out, because she got to get in her zone. So I'll set up and then go in the other room, and so when she's done, I'll edit it or whatnot, put the music to it, the intro, and then we would put it on YouTube as a premiere.
Yeah.
And then when Monday came or whenever the day it was that we like released it, we would like get excited. We go in the
get some popcorn.
Get some popcorn and sit in the living room
watch
and
it like
watch
a
it.
show.
Watch the countdown where it comes on. So we did that like 5 weeks or however long, how many episodes you had.
5, yeah.
5, and all of a sudden the opportunity opened for her to come back home to do a show, to be in a show. So we literally drove from South Carolina back to Indiana, the Chicago area, because it was in Chicago. But and this is an ongoing thing we always say. I'm like, we're in Northwest Indiana. It's a Chicagoland area.
It is, yeah.
So we came back for that show. So we got a chance to come home, be at home, things like that. And then we went back, and then the Lord was like, it's time to go back home. And so even when we were up here for that show, there was just different little opportunities that would happen in Chicago. And so it just made sense. Like sometimes when the Lord is doing things, it just makes sense because he's trying to aim you somewhere. So we ended up moving back home. And like one of the very first things that we did when we came back home is we actually signed a contract with a local theater to do a show. And then the pandemic happened and shut everything down.
Everything.
So that was kind of like our transition from like actually doing the monologues, had an opportunity to come home, act in a show, and then not too long after that, she started writing the show, and then we signed a contract with the theater to do the show.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen, the pandemic, and so fast forward, I know we probably get into it, but after the pandemic was over, we started to search and then found a theater where we actually, that was actually open.
Yeah.
Because a lot of places were still closed.
And it
because
was
of
actually
pandemic.
a church.
It was actually a church, and we ended up doing the show there.
Because the theaters were still closed at that time.
Yeah.
But this is how I know God really led us, and you got to really listen to the Holy Spirit, because we couldn't find a theater. Obviously, they were all closed. And I'm like, what venue to go to? Well, my niece had an induction, I think, to National Honor Society, and my sister couldn't make it, but we made it, and it was at the church, and we went, and while I was sitting there, it's like the Holy Spirit, like, have your show here. Like, it was a great stage, of course it wasn't a theater, but they had what a theater has, and it was a great audience, like the chairs were amazing, like it looked like a theater, really.
1,000 seats.
Yeah, 1,000 seater, it was like a real theater, and it's like the Holy Spirit was like, see if they rent, because the high school is renting this facility for their induction ceremony.
Right.
And so I reached out to them, and it was great. They, allowed me to rent it out. They even gave me a sponsorship, so I didn't have to pay full price because they believed in what I was doing. And I'm like, wow, God, like that was my first play, and it was amazing. People didn't even think it was my first play because they thought it was so great. And I credit that to God, because he connected me with the right people who knew what I didn't know. And about playwriting and directing and lighting and staging. And of course I have that background as far as production, as far as performing, but I had never been a director before.
Yeah.
So it was just, God will put you in the right places when he calls you to do something, and you can't be afraid to kind of like jump out and go for it. And that was a great experience.
Yeah, you got to go for it. If you have gifts, like the thing about like a gift that God gives you, like, a lot of times you don't have to like go to school for it, or you have it. And, a lot of you may be able to relate that thing that you just love to do, to enjoy to do.
Yeah.
Like, how to do it. It's given to God. It's his grace.
Yeah.
It's not by training. Now you can train and get better in that gift.
Yes, absolutely.
But there is a raw ability that's there that
Yeah,
a lot
that
of
natural
times
talent.
that you could just see.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you pay attention to that, like I believe she has, it has the ability and the potential to really bless a lot of people. You know?
Yeah, I will say that because we did an interview earlier on the radio and they were asking me, yesterday I think, and I told them I never saw myself as a playwright and I never wanted to write. I just never saw that. I was always a performer. I love to perform and that's just all I ever saw myself doing. But like I said, there just wasn't stories that I wanted to be a part of at that time. Like right now in my life, I want to be a part of something that means something. That's empowering or that has a message very particular about what I'm in, like productions. And so, I was like, okay, but I believe God called me to this. And so God was giving me these ideas. And so it's so important too to like, sometimes it's not what you think, because I only saw myself as a performer. And now I'm like, I'm a playwright, like I'm directing, all these things. But I think that's just so awesome because sometimes God has more for you than what you thought.
Right.
And it's been fun. It's been a wild ride, y'all, because we did the show in 2021. 2022, I went full time with just my company, Iconic Airs, where we did stage productions, dinner live music events, concerts. That's about it. Women's events. I have my Max Out Girl podcast, so I do a women's conference. And so it just kind of erupted. And that just from that small seed of like, just get on YouTube, do some improv monologues, go after your dreams. And it hasn't been easy and it's still a challenge. But at the same time, it's like you have to go for it. And now last year we did, was it 4 plays?
4 shows.
4 shows that I wrote, 4 different ones.
Yeah.
We had a whole season, entire season. And that was challenging, but amazing at the same
Yeah.
time. So how was it for you? Because guys, he helps me with everything, like everything. And sometimes I know that's tough because we're married and we also work together. And it's not always peaches and cream, y'all. But I feel like that the outcome's always beautiful. But how has that been? Because you are my stage manager for my bigger shows and the smaller shows. I mean, you've done a lot, like lighting and sound. And so kind of talk about that a little bit. How has that process been?
I mean, like for me, so a little bit about me. I love to do a lot of things. It's not always good sometimes because you got to be able to have some focus.
It's good for me, though.
Yeah, it's good for her, So, my thought when in helping my wife is just to make sure what needs to be taken care of is taken care of. Even like in ministry, I have a ministry background, just coming up in ministry and being, having that armor bearer role at times or being in different ministries. I would do whatever is needed. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever I was needed, fine, let me know what I got to do. We're going to make it happen. I was just always taught you do whatever you got to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in my wife's company, I find myself in that role because if there's something that needs to be done, it needs to be done. Maybe we've hired for a role or maybe at a certain time, we're working on having a budget to have a certain role so that people don't have to do a lot of things. But as you're growing, you have to be able to do multiple things in order to make the ship float and to make it move, So, in the earlier stages, I'm pretty much doing a lot of things. If there's some help needed to build a set, I'm available, Stage manager is been a lot of fun just because
you're great at it.
I love doing the show. You're behind the set, just making it happen, making sure actors are where they need to be. I have a mic on. I'm communicating back to the lighting people, the sound people, and things like that. And I love that. Like I love administration. I love being able to be at the center of the logistical things that are happening in the show. So that comes natural to me, so I enjoy doing that part.
And he's great at it. Well, like when I met him, because he has a sports background, I had no idea he would be like working with me in my production company.
Surprise.
Because I'm thinking, oh, you haven't done that, But he has, like in ministry, has been involved in some plays and stuff. But he's a fast learner and he takes initiative and he's great at stage managing. And it's just like, It's so tough though, because I have now, it's kind of hard to hire somebody else for that position because I mean he's my husband. I know he knows my shows, he has my back, I can trust him, and it's so hard because we do need to move you out of that, because he needs to move to other things within the company. But I just trust him so much, and he's so good with it that it's kind of tough. This might be your last show. He knows
Nope.
it. He said nope. But he's great at so many things, and I appreciate you because yeah, I'll be throwing them in all kind of situations. And I will say, yes, this has been interesting because building this company, like when you're starting just at grassroots, you do a lot. Like I've helped with the set, now I can't carry too many things, but I'll be trying to carry like all the heavy stuff with them. And, the painting, he's painted, my dad's painted, like, my dad and my husband, they built the sets. And it's amazing that that's in their wheelhouse to do so, you know what I mean? And so I do like the decorating with the sets and just the costume and stuff like that when you start off, but then you grow. Like we've been working with boutiques and different other people because you don't want to stay a solopreneur, right? You don't want to stay, it's just you three or you four no more. Like you do have to grow. And I feel like that's where I am at now. We've had that conversation where, okay, you're doing 4 different shows a year or 3 different shows a year, or even if you're doing a show a year and then you want to take it on tour, you need more staff. And so that's where we are now, like building our team. Like we're starting to build now and then finding more people that believe in what we're doing, believe in empowering women and empowering the community and really want to be a part of it. So if you know someone, email me, info@charbriashine.com. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been challenging. I will say there's been times he knows where I want to quit, where I don't want to do it no more. It might be every other day, y'all. But the product that we produce when we're on stage and when we hear the testimonials of what impact the stage play had on people or how it encouraged them or they saw themselves on stage or in a situation or just how amazing the entertainment was or the costumes or whatever it might be, the songs, the dancing, I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I can say, I mean, I know I'm her husband, so, I'm not trying to be biased, but her product from the outside looking in is amazing. You could tell she has a gift, especially with writing, because I've seen her pump out some shows, like, get in her zone at home and writing and things like that. And so she definitely has a gift for it. And so, just being able to see that over time, it's really natural to desire to help someone, but my wife, more importantly, get to where she's supposed to get and to be able to get the messages that she has in her shows out to people because throughout these last several years, we started doing the shows in 2021.
Yes.
Was our very first show. And, you could see the different, testimonials that people have written and things that people have said about the shows. And when you see people's lives touched and changed because they can either identify themselves in the show or identify something that the show is trying to portray and they receive that message and it changed their life, like it's nothing better, than you being able to use your gift to impact other people. And so I've seen that and, I know that it's a great product. And so being able to help her is just a pleasure.
And I appreciate you, like, sincerely, because he knows there's been so many times I want to give up because it's tough building something, from the ground up, especially if you feel like you haven't had all the resources and everything, but just the commitment to your purpose and knowing what God's called you to do, because there are times where I'm like, this isn't worth it, just being an entrepreneur, but then you have to remember, like, on that other side, like you said, the testimonials and the difference you're making and the other people you're inspiring, and the fact that if God called you to do it, you're supposed to do it, right? I mean, you want to answer to him and you want to be pleasing to God. And so I thank you because you have been, other than Christ, right, my rock, because you see me every day. You see me when I'm struggling. You see me when it's tough, when it's hard, when no one else is helping, when I have no one else to help me, but you got my back, I know it. But like, you see that, and I appreciate that because you encourage me. You could just say, girl, just give up, I'm tired of it. But you encourage me, like you always say, you have something special. You've always told me that. And I sincerely appreciate you for that because there's so many times, y'all might get emotional, so many times where I'm just like, I can't do this, or I'm done, or this is my last show, or I just, you see that because you know the hard work it takes, the pitfalls and some of the things, the challenges, let's put it like that. But you always encourage me to keep going. and to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to not give up. And I think that's so important, to have a supportive partner, somebody that you choose to make sure they have your back. You know, because life, you have ups and downs in marriage, but you want to make sure you have a partner who loves you, who's supportive of you, who's not competitive against you or jealous, but, you know, you really have each other's best, you know, at heart. You really want to be there for each other. And I love that about us. We've had our challenges with working together for sure, but I think at the end of the day, we know we're going to have each other's back, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
You're going to go through things. Like
Yeah.
I've done entrepreneurship for a little while.
Yeah. Longer than me, for sure.
And there's going to be times, you know, but here's the thing, like being able to focus on your vision, that's why you got to have a vision, because when things look like they're not going towards the vision, or it seems like you want to quit, you look back at the vision.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like in the Bible where Jesus got on a boat, said, we're going to the other side. If you start focusing on the waves in the storm,
Yeah.
then going to the other side is not going to look as strong in your mind or be as vivid,
Appealing, yeah.
you know? But you got to say, no, 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 I'm going there. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what this is saying or what this is looking like,
Yeah.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so important when you have a gift or you have a desire or a dream or empire or something that you're looking to build. Get that vision before you and keep it before you, so that in those times where it's like, man, I quit, or I give up, or I ain't doing this no more after this,
Yeah.
you can say, you know what, I don't care what this look like, I'm going there no matter what.
Yeah. And you've helped me with that, just keeping that vision before me. I will say there was one show, you probably don't remember, last year. You don't remember, it might have been our first show. I did it and I was just so exhausted and I was like, I'm done. I think me, you, and Dad, a couple of us went to Denny's or something. We went out to eat and I was so exhausted, just mentally, physically, spiritually. And we sat down and I literally told them, like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And then my dad didn't really say much. He waited, and he waited a couple of days, and he called me. He's like, you feel better now? He's like, I knew you were going to get over it. It was just a rough night. Because you're going to have those moments, but you can't be, like, impulsive. You gotta just, you might have to say how you feel, but just give it a minute, take a deep breath. And I haven't quit, you know. I'm not going to quit, but it's just, like, so funny that you have those moments that you got to remember, like, it's just a moment. Take your little vacation, take your little few days, and get back to it.
Well, the next month we was doing another show.
We was doing another show. Yeah, doing another show. I felt like this during this show. I'm like, ooh, I'm sad. I might not be doing this again. But you're gonna have those times. You just gotta keep pushing, because you know what's in your heart to do, and you gotta keep going. You're gonna get there. You cannot give up, even when it looks like it's not working or you're not progressing. You are progressing. You gotta keep going for sure.
Yeah, and you know it's challenging. I mean, we're not
making light of it.
Yeah, we're not making light of it, because like doing a production, like let's give you a behind the scenes of the production that we have coming up.
Single Woman Chronicles.
The stage play.
Charbria Shine. No.
March 29th. 6
West Side
p.m.
Theater Guild.
Right here.
Woo! SWCthestageplay.com, people.
Yeah. And before we say any more about that, thank you all who came out to our last production here, which was Dr. Love.
Yeah.
And
I love that show.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. We had approximately 1,500 plus people here.
That was awesome.
You know, you guys really came out. So it was a powerful show.
Thank you, Gary, Indiana, my
home.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that was a great show. So we're looking forward to rocking this amazing theater once again, and not too long from now.
Yeah.
And but it's a lot that goes behind the production, and I like to say, because I'm from a basketball background, like the on the court that's the easy part. Like it's everything that goes into before you get to the court or before you get to the stage, the marketing, the ticket sales, the advertising, the PR, the rehearsals. I mean, we're at rehearsals 3 times a week. You know, the reads and the rehearsals over Zoom, and you know, just planning
costuming, the hair, the makeup, what you're gonna wear, talking about all those things.
Yeah, I mean, the changing of the script, because you're changing things around, you know, as you're going through.
The blocking.
It's a ton.
Staging,
we can go on and on.
Yeah, it
you
could
know
go
what
on
I'm
and
saying?
on and on and on. And
You
then we
know,
have a recording coming up because we have music, and stuff.
there's music, so the official soundtrack, and so there's that music we're starting to put out.
Getting
and
merchandise.
merchandise.
I mean, the list
and-
goes on and on.
And I mean, right now we're also visiting different places in the city because it's our heavy promo time with the flyers and different things and like that. So, we're really, it's a lot that goes
Yeah.
into it. So when you see show day, it's like, let's have some fun. It was fun before, I'm not saying that, but show day is when you get to
Yeah.
show what the hard work.
Yeah, it's the payoff.
Yes.
Because
So-
Tech Week is coming up soon. Tech Week, I'm not going to say it's no joke, but if y'all have been in production, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're putting it all together, all the
Yeah.
pieces, and it's a task. Let's put it like that.
But it's fun though
is.
because we really on this side of it, we really feel, and I'll let you speak for yourself.
Sure.
But I really feel the satisfaction when the show's over and that final curtain where everybody bows and it's just like wow, and
Yeah.
people are applauding and
Yeah, that's awesome.
excited, and then even after that, like when the cast, some of our shows, the cast has come out and taking pictures with the the patrons that have
Yeah,
come to the
that's
show,
fun.
and everybody's clapping when you come into the foyer, and it's just like
awesome.
it brings everything together. And it makes it so worth it, when
It
you
is.
know that people are being blessed by what you do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would say you're absolutely right. I do agree with you. So just the aftermath of it all. I love, though, if I'm being honest, and you're not a part of this to you, but when I'm on stage and I feel the audience reaction, that's an amazing experience. And some of the smaller theaters, you really feel it because they're up on you. But in this particular theater during Dr. Love, lots of laughs. So it was really cool to hear the laughs, feel the energy, hear the responses of the people during it. Of course you're acting, but you feel the energy. You can kind of hear what's going on. I love that. But you are right. The aftermath, the curtain call, going out, taking pictures with everybody, and then me enjoying the shopping experience. Because at this show, we're having a big shopping experience, and then we're having the pink pre-show party beforehand, which y'all want to add on your ticket. That's going to be fun. I love all of that. The pictures, the seeing the fans and family members and the supporters and hugging them. And I love that. I know every show people don't always do that, but you guys are why I do this. So for me, that is very important. And I love that. I wouldn't stop doing that for anything. Yeah, I really love that.
It's awesome. So
Yeah.
we're really looking forward to you guys being blessed.
Yeah.
If you don't have your tickets, get your tickets.
Show tickets.
Come out. Make it for the ladies, make it a ladies' night out. It is Single Woman Chronicles. However, it's not just for the ladies because men come as well. We
They
have
do.
men in the
and
show.
they love it. It's funny too.
Yeah,
The reviews that we get from the men.
Yeah, so bring your family out.
Yeah.
Bring your husbands, ladies. Husbands, bring your wives. Come on out. Grab your tickets. It's gonna be a great time, and we're just weeks away. So we're just really excited, and would love to have you in attendance. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It is, he's right. It's so fun. I call this my mantra. This is my signature show because it's just such a message that I really want to get out there. It's so empowering. It's so part of my message and my background. So I really want to just share with the world. And it's fun. I'm not going to lie. We have a really fun, cool, sassy opening number. We have a party scene in there that's just so much fun, some dancing. And then we have our epilogue, which is kind of like a pretty little bow of what the show, the message we were trying to portray. And it's fun fashion. It's music and I'm not gonna tell you all of it, but because I could go on and on. It's a really fun show to watch, and it's a really fun show to do, and I'm excited about it. I really want you guys to see it. Again, like he said, West Side Theater Guild, March 29th.
Boom, boom.
Tickets are $35, but if you're watching this, there's a code for $10 off. Use code SWC, the number 10. That's SWC10 for $10 off, and add on the pink pre-show party. Add that on because it is going to be music, mocktails, sweet treats, giveaways, Single Woman Chronicles swag, raffles. I mean, you're going to get an exclusive picture with the cast that everyone else doesn't get, a different backdrop. You're going to get a signed poster. It's worth it, y'all. It's going to be so much fun. And cast, we're going to just party out with y'all before the show. So that starts at 4 p.m. show. Then after that, it's the shopping experience and then the show. So
Yeah. And
come on out.
Now that pink show,
pre-show party?
Pre-show party. There's only so many spots for that.
Oh, yeah. It's like a VIP experience.
Yeah, so it's only so many spots, and they're already going. So make sure you check that out. when it sells out, you'll see it online. So
Yeah.
go ahead and get your tickets now.
Yeah,
The
it's a
shopping,
select.
the shopping experience is going to be great too. We got a lot of different vendors,
Yeah.
your fashion, jewelry. I mean, we have a lot
Food.
of food.
Food vendors.
Food.
Sweet treat vendors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Food.
I'm excited about that. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
eat that before the Pink Pre-Show party because
Yeah.
I'll be busy. But I already told Olette from all these pastas I like to eat, y'all, so I'm going to make sure I get my food. But
We got to put ours aside.
we got to put ours
you know what I'm
aside,
saying?
yeah. But that's it. We're excited.
Yeah.
And we got this show coming up. Last question. Out of all the shows that we've done together, what has been your favorite show?
Oh.
So there's Dr. Love, there's Single Woman Chronicles, there's Little Black Dress, there's Superpower, and there's The Ladies Lounge.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of shows.
5 shows.
Oh man, that's a interesting. I got to break it down into categories. So
Okay.
I would say like the overall production. I would have to say Single Woman Chronicles.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we've done some shows in the last few years where I'm the type of person I like when lighting loads in and
He
I
likes
love
the big
all
production.
That. They bring
when we
in
went
it-
on the mini tour,
Yeah,
like Indianapolis.
like when we went to Indianapolis
That
for the
was
Single Woman
fun.
Chronicles, like getting the set in, parking the truck up to the deck and getting everything, and then like we had, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the cast. So, just all that kind of stuff. Because with me with basketball, I had to deal with that kind of stuff, like when the bus leaves, the
You like all that
hotel,
stuff.
making sure everything is nice and neat for everyone involved. And so, like, I like that kind of stuff. So, like, I guess the overall, I would have to say Single Woman Chronicles.
Yeah.
Now, straight laughs and comedy. Single Woman Chronicles does have some comedy in it.
It does. It's funny too, yeah.
But Dr. Love, her character in Dr. Love is straight comedy. You know what I'm saying? So like,
It's a laugh fest.
yeah. So
Comedy fest.
I do like that part of that
Yeah.
that one as well. And then when we did Superpower, for the young people, the kids,
The young girls, yeah.
that was awesome because we had a lot of the lighting and the music. So we had to load in for that show like early in the day. And just being able to deal with the tech people and lighting people.
Yeah.
You got to get everything right. You got to test the lights during the day.
Now
So-
you're talking about the technical piece. there.
Yeah,
He just
so-
that's why he's the stage
Yeah,
manager.
see?
He loves all the.
She said which show.
Yeah.
So I thought about all
He
that.
thought
kind of
about
stuff.
all, but that's good because that's where your mind is. Your mind is the behind the scenes technical, and my
Yeah.
mind is like the on stage, like what. But you are right. Superpower was really cute because it was all the little girls and they all dressed like
Yeah.
different superheroes, and we were superheroes, and it was like a play that I wrote around that. It was really cute.
But I think the best show, man,
Your favorite, not the best one.
my favorite.
You said it. Single Woman Chronicles. You changed your
My
mind.
favorite because I like all of them. There it goes. There we like all
That's a
of them.
safe answer, y'all. Well, thank you, man. Me too. I like all of them. Yes, but come on, y'all. Check us out. March 29th, Charbria Shine Single Woman Chronicles. We are going to have a blast. So, any last words, babe? Or that's it? You're going to be at the show.
I will be at the show. I'll be right back there.
Yes. Oh, he actually was in that show before. He actually played a character one year.
I did.
A love interest of mine. That was fun on tour when we went. That was fun.
Yeah.
We might see him again. We'll see.
Might see me again.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all we got, y'all. We hope I said something that encouraged, inspired, elevated your thinking, and always remember to max out, girl. I'm Charbria Shine. Talk to you next time. Bye, guys.